The forecasts are wrong again. And no, we're not talking about the weatherman. We're talking about foreign exchange forecasters. Bloomberg's Sara Eisen is over at our markets desk with a new scorecard for currency forecasts. Sara?
Eric, while Bloomberg News ranked the top 10 currency forecasters for accuracy over the past year and a half, and the results were not pretty. On average, currency forecasters missed the mark by 6.6%. That's almost double what it was when we last calculated it a few years ago. Also, keep in mind, currencies move in tight ranges, about a 1 to 2% move over an extended period of time. So that's a big miss. Why were they so off? Well, FX can be tricky in general to predict, and the last year and a half was especially turbulent time for the currency market. We saw the highest volatility in almost 15 years, so that's a big part of the story as to why they were so off. I shared the results with David Bloom. He is the global head of currency strategy for HSBC, and which did not make the top 10 list, by the way, and this was his defense.
Obviously, if you had a look at how equity people performed, all of them being absolutely gung-ho about the equity markets, despite the fact that it went into the biggest downturn since the 1930s, somehow that passes everyone by. That everyone was very gung-ho about credit markets before the crash and it really got badly hurt. That seems to pass you by. But we get it wrong by 6% in the FX market, and somehow it's a big deal.
So who was the most accurate, or should I say the least wrong? Well, that would be a state-owned German bank called Landesbank. It beat out 46 other firms in the overall ranking, which factored in 7 exchange rate pairs, thanks to an early call for the dollar to weaken. Number 2, Scotia Capital, which is a part of Nova Scotia Bank, and number 3, Bank of America Merrill Lynch.
Sara, let's go back to that point that David Bloom was making there. Is there any research on how these FX forecasters stack up against the other analysts?
Well, HSBC did some analysis on the accuracy of FX forecasters, and they also looked at interest rate strategists and equity analysts. And what they found was there was no evidence that FX strategists were worse forecasters than interest rate and equity analysts. So that's part of the reason Bloom says FX strategists have been unfairly singled out here.
All right, that is Bloomberg's Sara Eisen over at the markets desk. For all of the rankings, including a breakdown of rankings by currency pair, you can pick up a copy of the latest Bloomberg's Market Magazine.